On our charts, you'll mostly just see one or two candles marked out because we know that's where banks bought or sold. So yeah, basically what I've seen on EuroCAD this week is last week we got our rejection. We had this last up candle before the down move. We got a slight rejection, but we kept going bullish. But that still left us with beautiful equal lows. So what everybody's taught when you first start trading, right? If you started trading, even in IM Mastery Academy, they'll teach you a lot of things about how you place your stop loss below the old low, right? This is a resistance, everybody's buying. Where would your stop loss reasonably be, right? Everybody's stop losses will be underneath these lows. So the way we trade is we look at those as targets and not as entry zones. So these are targets that need to be destroyed and will be taken out because there's money sitting underneath them. So that's the first part of this setup is I'm looking at these equal lows. We got a triple bottom pretty much. Lots of liquidity is building up in here. We're just winding up. That is my first target for it, and like for a TP. Next thing I saw on this trade is if we fib it up, we got a Fibonacci retracement tool, right? First thing I saw as well is this last candle before we got this massive sell down, right? If I'm lining up from there to there, it lines up my golden pocket, as you guys can see. My golden pocket 71 to 88.6. Basically, Fibonacci is really not a difficult subject. It is literally just a price discount tool. Think about it as you guys are going shopping. Would you rather buy your currency at 50% off or sell it at 50% off, or would you buy it at 71% off, right? Everybody wants their discounts, and that's what institutions are looking at. They're not going to buy a currency at the low. They're not going to do it here. They're not going to sell it here, and they're not going to buy it up here, right? That just not how it works, right? So I measured it out. I'm looking 71. It's in my golden pocket. Perfect. Another reason I'm looking at this sell is long term. We finally created bullish momentum, right? We had this last spring formation. We tested once. So I feel like we're going to get a third test down here. So I'm looking for sells personally, right? So this week, I went lower down the time frame. We got imbalance from, where's my, here. So we have imbalance from here to here. Oh, that's not a very straight line. There we go. So there we go. We mark out that zone. So a lot of you guys won't be familiar with this. I'm just going to delete this for now. A lot of you guys won't be familiar with this as well is when candlesticks make sudden moves like this, there was no buying pressure involved, right? The markets always need to be balanced out. They will never just slide down and then not come back up and refill those areas. Think about it like this. When you have a crayon and you're drawing on a piece of paper, and you go really fast, there's going to be areas in between that are not going to be filled in, right? There's going to be spaces in between. So big money, since they can't run it with people, it's run by algorithms, and this is eventually going to be filled back in, right? There needs to be buying pressure in here so it's equaled out. So I'm looking at that as a region of interest to eventually get filled in. Since we're currently bullish right now, broken highs, we keep going higher, higher, higher. I'm looking at this area to possibly sell off of. So that's mostly my reasons why I'm selling this right here, but you can honestly enter anywhere you want. You can go at the imbalance fill. So there's your 25 pip stop loss above the high. First target is down here. So 1 to 4.5, 1 to 4.5 trade. Or we can go lower it down at another time frame and we could possibly bring it up, right? Where's the last up candle before that down move? It's this one. So it all depends on your risk preference and what you're willing to risk. But then if we do trade it from up here, we could get a massive trade.
Ooh.
That could be a 1 to 16 trade possibly.
Ooh, I like that one.
Yeah, so I'm going to be watching this. I wouldn't put any limits in yet. I want to see how the market plays out. It's Sunday, right? So right now we're mostly just looking for areas of interest for the rest of the week. But we're definitely going to keep an eye on this pair, and if we do see something that we like, we'll let y'all know for sure. So that's pretty much just odd CAD, just looking for another retracement off that level. We got our target, we have our last candle that screwed everybody over and sold off. So this is our first trade of the week, possibly. fire entry. Hopefully, we'll see what happens. But
Sheesh, if we get that with a 10 pip stop loss, bro, I'm dropping the standard on that trade.
yeah, we could, it could definitely happen, right? So we'll see. We'll definitely keep an eye on it for everybody because
Yeah.
this could be a fire trade of the week.
If you would just want to look over the news real quick, what dates do we have CAD news this week?
I'm gonna check. I'm gonna refresh this thing. My computer's probably gonna freeze because it's so slow.
Well, maybe it would help if you take out some of those tabs, my guy.
I know. I have so many tabs. I got all the woke stay tabs up here because of Trade House, so I gotta watch all the YouTube videos yet. This week, CAD news 7:30 on Wednesday. So Wednesday is a reversal day.
Ooh,
so
yeah.
we could possibly see this thing slowly chug along all week, and then Wednesday could be our time where it spikes up and then takes out all those lows. So it could be, this will be a very juicy setup, very, very juicy. So I'm excited for this. Firstly, TP1 would be down at these lows. TP2 would be to fill this imbalance. So we could be catching mad pips on this trade. Yeah, I'm excited for this one. See how it plays out.
That's nasty. So while he's going over this, guys, what I would be doing, you should have two things out: a notebook and your trading view side by side, and mark out exactly the way he has his chart marked out. So even if we don't end up sending the chart, which we will do most of the time, you marking it out for yourself is going to allow your brain to teach itself this pattern. It will teach itself, what am I looking for? And you will subconsciously learn how to trade, right? Because we all know our subconscious mind is 10 times, well, a lot more powerful. We don't even know the exact number of how many times more powerful it is than our conscious mind, right? And you're learning while you are watching and doing at the same time. So if you want to learn how to snipe, that's what you got to do. Whenever I'm in an IML TV session, whenever I'm in a session with Chris, whenever I'm in a session with anybody, right, as they are marking up their chart, I am marking up my chart as well and looking at the same exact things. All right. So that's going to help your trading journey a lot.
100%. 100%. I definitely recommend watching a lot of Go Live sessions. Trade House is live every single day with different educators. If you guys plug into those sessions, you guys will learn exponentially faster than just doing it yourself. Also, practicing is great as well, but learn from them and then go apply what you learned, right? If you don't apply your knowledge, you're never going to learn. If you're just sitting around and not actually doing the skill set yourself, you're never going to learn, right? So definitely what Arjun was saying is 100% correct. Yeah, we got one more setup I had marked up was odd JPY. The reason I had this marked out was we're currently a little bit going bullish again, right? I'm looking for a retracement back up into our last candle that took out the highs, took out all this liquidity, and then shot down, right? I am looking at a possible sell into that area. The reason I also have a target down low, I will show you guys on a higher time frame, is we had a nice spring play here, manipulated candle that took all the lows out, and now we're flying up. We get a retest, fly up, and then I'm looking for a third test before we really take off. So that's why I'm looking for a sell. We got imbalance down here. Market's not going to like that. It's going to want to come down, especially on a higher time frame. Big players play on big time frames. They don't look at the 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute like we do. The algorithms do, but the big players, they're gonna be watching the higher time frames. So that's one of my reasons I'm looking for a short on this pair. It also lines up with a nice Fibonacci retracement from
number theory 75.
Yeah, so right in here. Yeah, we got that 75 area. We could literally sell off anywhere in here. So I'm looking possibly in here. We do get a sell off of that last up candle because we do have imbalance in here, although very slight. I don't know if y'all can see that, but you see how the wick is here and the next wick is in here. Right in between there, there's nothing that filled in the imbalance, right? There's no buying pressure in that area. So we could possibly get a very nice entry right in between there.
Yeah, so, probably looking to sell maybe at that 78.6 just so we get filled.
Yeah, 100%. If you wanted to get filled, 100%. So it'd be a bigger stop loss, but definitely because we're going to be swinging this thing. We're not going for a small amount of pips.
Yeah.
So because we're definitely looking because I'm looking for the imbalance fill and then for it to really take off, because we do have our Wyckoff play. I know a lot of you guys haven't heard that, but smart money needs to play differently than we play. They create all this liquidity. Think about all the people that started buying in here, right? It's just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth for about, this was over a week, almost a month's time. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you get one random candle that takes everybody out, right? Why do a massive percentage of traders fail? Manipulation in the markets. You'll see this time and time again where one random candle goes boop, takes everybody's stop losses, and then it goes in the right direction, right? So this was the beginning of the big time frame move that I'm looking for to eventually get us up higher. So I'm looking at a 1 swing, 2 swing, and then we could get the 3rd swing to really take us off and go. So we'll see if this happens. If not, that's also cool, but this is definitely one that I'm going to keep on my radar. But yeah, I got all JPY and EuroCAD. I don't know if you have any setups for the week.
Well, I haven't really marked too much up yet, but a couple people were talking about, I'm going to share my screen.
Yeah,
a couple people were talking about the NZDs, like Steady had entered with GBP NZD, but we had the nice gap up and we're starting to pull back.
Yeah.
So I had identified this candle up here, right, in this zone up here. If we take our fib tool from that high to the low, right, we did do a 71% retracement. But we may come back up to these highs, come back into this area, maybe even back up to this candle, or something of the sort before we make a real move down.
Yeah.
So that's what I was looking at with GBP NZD, because like Chris talked about, all that imbalance, right? News causes a lot of that imbalance, and that news candle pushed all the way down. So we may, retest right before this news candle all the way up here, before we make a real move down. So there's still some imbalance that needs to be filled. In terms of a price point that I'm looking at, I love my quarter 3 levels. So I'm going to mark those out real quick. 2.02. 2.03, and then right in between there we have 2.025. All right, so we rejected off of 2.025. So a lot of retail traders, they will have most likely seen this simple break and retest and sold off of that. So the market showed them profit, right? But most people are thinking that we're going to continue to drop. Well, we may just not be ready for that drop yet. So now they're going to come back, take some of these orders, fill that imbalance, and then make a move down. So what I may be potentially looking for here is maybe we will create some kind of head and shoulders throughout this week for the actual drop. Head and shoulders is still a retail pattern, but it's still one of the ones that works more than normal patterns. Because really what it is, it's, you're understanding that head movement is where the banks are manipulating the market, pulling back down, retesting where they bought, and then they sell the market down. That's usually when those head and shoulders work. They don't have to be completely clean, but you have to understand the movement to understand why it would work and why it wouldn't work. So GBP NZD, I definitely see this, probably coming back, continuing to go up, and coming into these zones. We do have this candle right here, but I doubt it's very strong, to be honest with you. It did, it took out some area, but it didn't really take out a lot of liquidity, in my opinion. So most likely this market will come back up, take the liquidity that's, resting above here. Now that I see it right here, look at this. We got these equal highs. What do we like to do with equal highs? They get fucked. All right. Equal highs get fucked. You guys need to remember that. So after they get destroyed, most people are going to be looking at this level, right? Where's that? Right? Everyone's going to be like, teacup, teacup, teacup. Take the teacup out. and then it'll drop. That's what's going to happen, most likely. That's what I see happening, at least. The teacup might work, but I doubt it. Maybe for 10 pips, but we like to catch the swing. Remember, this is swing sniping. We want to get the best possible entry, lowest possible risk, and highest possible reward, right? Everyone's going to tell you greed is a bad thing. We're going to tell you otherwise, right? It is good to be greedy in the markets, right? It's all about the law of duality, right? It's all about law of duality, which is one of the universal laws, right? For every I believe it's for every action, there's an equal but opposite reaction, right? So the law of duality in terms of universal laws states for every action, there's an equal or opposite reaction, right? So there is greed that, that holds you back, and there's greed that helps you make profits, right? If you didn't have even an ounce of greed, then what's going to happen? You're never going to stay the same. I mean, you're never going to change. You're going to stay the same all the time, right? So it's finding that balance, finding that yin yang type balance, right? That balance that keeps you in check, right? You don't want to be too greedy, but at the same time, you don't want to be, completely frugal either, right? It's going to take some risk to make money in the markets. If somebody told you that you have no risk in these markets, they were lying to you, and I'm sorry about that, but that's just how it is. You can't make money in these markets if you're not risking $5, $10, $15, $20, right? If you're not willing to risk, that money, then trading is probably not for you, right? So you got to understand that in these markets, and we have taken it, not us, but, these educators, they've made it very, very simple for us to risk as little as possible and make as much as we want, right? So when we talk about a target being 1 to 5, right, we want to hold that target because because of our greed, right? Everyone wants to make a lot of that money. But at the same time, when you have targets that these are these far, even if we take partial profits, we would be making more than somebody who was, taking the same trade by having a bigger stop loss and a smaller TP, right? I've seen some people trade with negative risk to reward. So that means they were trading with 20 pips, going for 10 pips. Like a 20 pip stop loss and going for 10 pips does not make sense to me. If it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make dollars, right? Remember that. If it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make dollars. So GBP/NZD, this is what I'm looking at. And while we were hopping on the call, we were talking about DXY, right? So DXY has gapped down for the week. So most likely we're going to come back to fill this gap. And once we understand that, where are they going to come back to? This candle that took out this liquidity here. That's actually super, super clean in terms of where they can come back to. They do have some imbalance in here. But I don't think, that may be too relevant, since on a daily time frame, it's not too much imbalance. But, on a lower time frame, we've identified the buy candle that they use to push the market down. So more than likely, we're going to come back to here. So when DXY goes up, what happens, right? We're looking for DXY to potentially, maybe it'll consolidate around here, then it's going to pull up, and then it's going to drop, right? So if we're looking for something like that to happen, we need to understand that the dollar is going to gain strength, and then after that, the dollar is going to lose strength. So the pairs that make up the DXY the most are USD CHF and Euro USD. So when we're looking at Euro USD, right, if we're looking for the dollar to potentially go up, when we're looking for the dollar to potentially go up, what we're going to look for is Euro USD to come down and then continue to go up, right? So right here, we have this candle that, that obviously manipulated the market over here, and then we dropped the market. It's not super clean because we didn't take out these highs. So this could also be interpreted as equal highs. So I would, this is another one where I probably wouldn't set a limit. I'd be watching the market here around this area. So more than likely, the market's going to pull up to this point and then make a drop to capture more liquidity to go higher. So where can they capture more liquidity to go higher? We will have to see, but this sell setup is looking very, very promising. Making keeping with that bias that the dollar is going to go up before it goes down. So Euro USD, keep an eye out for this. These are pretty equal highs now that I look at it in a higher time frame. So Euro USD could just continue to go up and blow through these highs and fill the imbalance here. Right? We have a lot of imbalance here. So we have this zone to play with, to talk about and see, right? So in terms of the upside, we still have a lot of targets with Euro USD, right? This whole area is still kind of equal highs. So this may come up, pull back down, and then continue up. That's kind of what I'd like to see on Euro Dollar. Like to see that in the beginning of the week at least, and then the real move would be something like that to happen on Euro Dollar. And then for USD CHF, all you have to look for is the opposite. And if that does correlate, for the most part, that is good. Yeah, so we're looking for the dollar to go up. And as you can see, we have this area right here. Let me go to a higher time frame. All right, so we got some imbalance right here to play with. Got some imbalance right in there to play with, as well as that buy candle before the sell move. So the dollar should be bullish, maybe coming into Wednesday. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, up here, we'd like to sell this down. And with USD CHF, we have this nice area of money right here. All of this money underneath these lows. Probably some money underneath these lows right here. Probably some money underneath these lows and underneath these lows. So this could potentially, if we trade this right, USD CHF could be a very nice hold with about maybe a 25 pips or so stop loss. Our first take profit giving us about 100 pips. And then if we continue to drop lower, there's a potential to even make 200 to 300, like catching the whole swing down type shit. Right? So that's what could happen with USD CHF. And I actually like that a lot. What are your thoughts on this, Christian? You still there, bro?
Yeah, sorry, I muted myself.
Are you
No,
good?
I like that move for sure. DXY, I do like that move it could possibly sell off there. Long term though, like long term, I do see it going up possibly to go fill in the 99 area. There is an imbalance. There's a gap on the daily time frame. You'll see it. So if you do a fib from the top down to the bottom, that lines up with
right in here.
Yeah, a little bit higher. There's the little wick, that area there.
Oh, this. Okay.
Yeah, so there's a gap in there. So I just did a fib from the top down to the bottom. So short term, we could definitely get some sells going on, but I would like to see it come higher.
Yeah, I got you, because we really only did a 50%. So
yeah,
nice pullback down. Honestly, a lot of people don't trade harmonics. That trade smart money as well, but you can use them as confirmation. So let's do something like this. Right, so we could come back into this. So we have the dollar drop down into the 61.71 area. This harmonic would have completed, filled out as all its take profits, and then we could potentially take this market higher into this region that Chris was talking about, which does come in, above our 272 area, in between our 272 and 6180 area. So yeah, this zone definitely would be of an interest. So the dollar would drop before it comes up, which does make sense. Definitely does make sense in a higher outlook of the market. But trading it on a week by week basis, that a move like this is very, 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 very possible to happen.
100%. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, maybe even coming into 78.6 down here, because they got that little down candle for no reason right there chilling.
Yeah.
I like 78.6 as maybe a downwards target for DXY. So yeah, I would like for the dollar to push up and then drop, but if we continue to drop to here, then we'll reanalyze the charts in the morning when we do go ahead and do our live New York session in the morning.
Yeah.
But let me just take a quick peek at the other charts. USD CAD is still interesting. Hopefully we do get that push back up so we can sell this thing again. I did get out of all my positions on USD CAD. Probably not a smart thing to do, but we'll let this thing pull back up. I have a feeling that we might. We do have some of these equal highs in here as well. So, you know, that becomes a target for the upside, and we have this candle right there. There's a little imbalance. Look at that. You know, got some confluence going on. Something like that on UCAD would be beautiful to continue to drop. Targets are so beautiful on UCAD, especially when you get an entry right in here. Put your stop loss right above that high right there. In terms of risk to reward, that's another standard trade, 7.9 pip stop loss. And let's say we come back, fill these gaps, 152 pips, 1 to 20. Yo, the risk to rewards this week are going to be nasty.
That's a fact, bro.
Nasty. We just got to hold. We just got to hold. Hold.
That's right.
Peek the euro real quick. We looked at that. If you guys took some profit on eChef and then got stopped out, it was still valid. It did the same shit and then it kept coming back up. I did re-enter, but I forgot to send it out.
Yeah, it just took off.
Yeah. Euro JPY.
There's possibly a Euro NZD set up on the hourly, but I'm looking for possibly that.
But this right here?
I'm looking for the pullback all the way down, actually. You see that 1 hour candle before the whole thing just took off? That area there.
Yeah, this right here.
So, yeah, it'd be a small risk to reward.
I think they'll come. I think they still have to come grab their buys up here before they go lower.
Yeah, for sure.
They were just selling to buy this further to go grab those buys. So it's like EN is like the same shit as GN.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. It could be the exact same thing.
Yeah, so EN and GN will probably do the same thing. So I'll let this play out. Let this come higher. ECAD, Chris already went over that. I have that zone marked out as well. CAD Jappy. What do we got going on here? I don't know. It's kind of ugly. So we got some imbalance in here. So maybe CAD Jappy coming higher. Wait, what are we? We're looking for ECAD to go higher and then drop. So CAD Jappy pull back, go higher.
Yeah.
That's probably what we will see. So where can we pull back to? This is the last 4 hour sell candle. So let's mark that out and then drop lower. This is the last 1 hour sell candle. Go lower. Beautiful. I like this zone in here. We do have imbalance. So we could see CAD Jappy drop hard from kind of where it's at and then pull back into here and then continue higher. We do have nice upside targets right up in here. Beautiful, beautiful. Imbalance to play in here. Yeah, CAD Jappy is most likely going to go up. But it's just a matter of it pulling back down to give us an entry. Somewhere down there. Let's throw a fib on this. See if we get some confluence going in there. Yeah, 70. Well, is right under 78.6. So probably entry around 71, 78.6 in this zone right here. something like that to come down into, and then continue higher. And you can see our negative 272 target lies pretty much directly at that nice area of money that we have identified. So definitely look out for some CAD JAPY pull down and then buy up. And that's pretty much in confluence with what we want to see with UCAD and ECAD. So if we do get all those three setups to go, honestly, we won't even have to trade anything else besides those CAD pairs this week.
That's a fact.
Because that risk to reward is crazy. GBP CAD, let's look at this. Okay, so GCAD took out these highs already. So it looks like GCAD could come higher. GCAD could come higher. We got this like 6 million top up here. Yeah, I'd see this coming up maybe a couple hundred pips before it drops. Yeah, we'll see something like that on GCAD. I'm going to keep an eye on this. There's no real setup yet, but GBP CAD could definitely come higher and then make a massive move to the downside. Or we make a move to the downside now, and then we use this area as targets when we buy it back up. GA, GU, GJ.
GJ just in a giant box of nothingness.
Yeah.
So I'm just waiting for something to play out. Eventually get an FU
Yeah, like we took out this high. I'm looking at this last candle here. If the timing is correct, the stop loss on this trade, bro.
Yeah.
If the timing is correct there, it's going to be nasty. So I'm going to keep an eye on this. If I catch this during London or in the morning, this will be so worth it. Like a 10 pip stop loss, and we're talking about 130 pip take profit. I will get, this one is definitely something I want to keep my eye out for.
Yeah, it's definitely the last one. If it doesn't reject there, then yeah, we're going higher.
Yeah. I mean, if it falls from here, I'd be pretty sick too, because I'm not in a trade, but it's not the right time. So I just have to stay patient.
Yeah. Just waiting on some.
That patience can save you. That patience can save you. So I'm gonna stay safe.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, definitely. A lot of you new people, if you don't know, trading beginning of the week is normally not a great time to trade.
Yeah,
depends obviously, but
the only like scenarios that changes is like if Friday was like super consolidated or Friday moved a lot, then you could see a lot of movement like coming into the week as well sometimes. So it's it varies, but if the setup is there and the timing is correct, it doesn't necessarily have to be the timing in terms of whether it's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, but the timing in terms of is it the right session to be trading this, right? GBP JPY, even though it is a JPY pair, it moves during Asian session, right? The pound is a lot more of an influence than the yen. Especially, I don't think there's anything going on with the yen this week. There usually isn't with news anyways, so yeah, so there's nothing going on. There's a lot of euro news. There's not a lot of pound news, but the euro news can affect the pound, and the pound, there's always some kind of Brexit or some shit going on. So the pound always moves for the most part. Even when it's consolidating, like, consolidation pips are like a couple hundred pips. Like this consolidation move is like, 100 pips. So I'm going to look for this to come higher, if you guys are willing to risk that. With a 10 pip stop loss, you have a very, very nice risk to reward in here. So hopefully you guys marked out your charts the same way. But I'm just going to throw this in there, and then Christian can throw ECAD and just throw ECAD in there for now, I guess. Just like the thing, but none of them are like we're putting any limits or anything. We're watching, right? Tonight is a lot about just watching. So Christian, you could throw that in the markups one. That way it rings in both. And then I got GJ. I threw in there that we may potentially see a sell opportunity. This will most likely happen during London session. So I'm going to be watching the charts London session tonight just for that reason. All right. If you guys, last minute, if you guys have any other pairs to request, throw me a pair and or a markup that you guys did and you want some feedback on it, me and Christian could definitely throw some feedback your way. And hopefully, and then maybe you could guys get a, maybe you see something that we don't, or, vice versa, whatever. If anyone wants that, I'll give it a minute. Alex said 500 plus pip week this week. You shoot for 1,000 pips a week, bro. Every week, 1,000 pips. GA. All right, I'll peep that for you, Steven. GBP AUD. Bro, this is like nowhere right now. Okay. In terms of a 15-minute setup, this was clean right there, but the timing wasn't really correct. You could have entered if you wanted, to be honest, since there was that gap and everything. And, just throwing a break even if you saw that. That's all I see right now. So if we still stick around this area for London session, hell yeah, I look to sell that down. We could definitely catch a move here. Hella imbalance, hella everything for this thing to drop. And they've been pretty much taking away their buy positions almost instantly. So yeah, this could definitely, if we see another pullback or something on this during London, yeah, sell that, dude. If you're already in a sell, congratulations. And just put stop loss to break even and hodl. Because overall, I do see pound pairs dropping. It's just a matter of time. But yeah, this will definitely, most likely this is going to drop. Most likely this is going to drop. It already played the candle it's supposed to play. So, you can't really catch an entry unless we get a nice pullback. And then this is another one where it'd be a very, pretty tight stop loss. If we do come back to that entry zone, 16, 20 pip stop loss, terms of reward, 2-3 waves down, 400 or 500 pips on this trade. That's what I'd like to see. All right. Can you put, oh shit, I wasn't sharing my screen. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. This was the last buy to sell candle, right? Market pulled down, market pulled back to it, right? And now we're just playing, but it's not the right time. So if the timing was correct, I would have sold it right there. Now it's just a matter of time, to see if we're still in this area around London session or New York session. I will sell this and have a very tight stop loss, 15, 16 pips. And there's a lot of gaps and stuff on the way down. So you have a potential to catch 400 or 500 pips, maybe even more with the amount of gaps we got going on down there. 700 pips potential on this move down. And you could stack orders as it's coming down with more buy to sell candles that come into play along the way. So yeah, I'll definitely keep this on my watch list as well. GA. So looking at GA, GCAD, and GJ. What other pairs did we talk about? We talked about CAD JAPI, EU, and ECAD, USD CHF, USD CAD, and the DXY. All right, so these are all the pairs that we talked about. You guys could screenshot that real quick. Actually, I also believe Christian talked about AUD JPY, so we throw that on there. These are all the pairs we're looking at, just watching. There's no limits yet.
Yep, definitely beginning of the week. Stay patient.
Yeah.
And we'll definitely get some fire setups. This is, with the way we trade, we really don't have to be in the markets 24/7. I know everybody wants to be. I've been there, done that. It's really not worth your time just spamming trades and entering if you're not very consistent with it, right? So definitely stay patient, wait for the right setups, and then we'll keep doing these training calls, and eventually your eye is going to see the same thing. This is a very duplicatable thing. It just takes time. Um, Forex is a lot about learning, but applying it yourself as well. So go on the charts, try and find different areas, watch go live sessions, and I'm telling you, it'll click with you eventually. I know it all sounds like gibberish to a lot of people, but trust me, it'll make sense. Like learning a new language. Once you got it, right? So we'll definitely help everybody out with that, and then we'll get everybody sniping on the team.
100%. Yeah. So this is my outlook on USD CAD. Somebody asked, right? We got that double top in there, right? Potential left head, right shoulder play, 71, last buy to sell candle. There's, what do you call it? Imbalance up in there. So if this comes to here, I'm selling this with an 8 pip stop loss and hodling. That's going to be my play on USD CAD. But first, I want to see that USD bullishness come in. If that comes into fruition, we got a lot of stuff that's gonna go down this week. All right. So that's our time. It didn't even take an hour. Honestly, a lot of the hour went into promoting. But go ahead and talk about these sessions with the team. If you guys are getting value, go ahead and tag me and Christian on Instagram. Throw some stories up there. I'm gonna type my Instagram in. I'll probably get a little banner thing going for us as well, Christian.
Okay.
But Arjun, no, I forgot that I changed my shit. I am Arjun Banks on IG, and then Christian is
just Christian _Giesbrecht.
my last name, bro.
IAN _. GI. Okay. ES. BRE. CHT. Sorry, I got that Mennonite name. It's confusing as fuck.
It's all right. Well, you know what? I'm gonna save this as a drawing template.
We'll get everybody learning. I'm excited that we're starting this now. We're going to create a culture with the way we trade. Our team's going to create this culture, and it's really going to take off. I'm super excited for sure. So I'm glad everybody hopped on.
100%. And for everyone that shares this on their Instagram story, I've recorded this entire live. So I'll send you guys the link. All right. So for those that do promote it, next time. So tomorrow morning we have a live session. I don't expect 20 people to hop on the live session because I know you guys have work, yada, 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 etc. So I don't expect people to hop on at 7 in the morning for the live session, but I do expect people for 10 p.m. tomorrow. 10 p.m. tomorrow, Monday, we do the same thing. Markup. This is when we look at our stuff. We go to sleep, and then we wake up and execute during London. Not during London, but during New York. Or we will set limits if we think the setup might happen during London. All right?
Arjun.
Yeah.
Definitely, I would definitely appreciate you sending me the recording because Oscar was on the call, but he had to go into work. Remember Oscar from Starbucks?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, he was on the call, but he had to go into work, so he definitely would want the recording.
I got you. As long as I'm not. I don't want to say this on the call, but whatever, as long as 5 or 6 of you throw it in there, I'll just throw the recording in the Telegram. So it's really just for you guys to give you an incentive to push and promote this and make it happen. So we get 20 people on the live tomorrow. Because our goal here, is obviously to help as many as that want to learn, but at the same time we know a lot of there's over 75 people on the team. There's over 100 people on the team. So the fact there's only 11 people on this call, we obviously weed out the weak and weed out the people that are not serious, and we work with the ones that are. And I think there's at least 20 people that are serious about this because we did get up to 15 people on the call tonight. So let's get this up to 20 for tomorrow night.